The preliminary task was undertaken as a practice run, so we were aware of the processes involved to produce a seamless opening sequence. There are a number of continuity techniques we needed to consider when addressing our preliminary tasks. These were the 180-degree rule, the shot reverse shot, eyeline match, and match on action. The 180-degree rule states the camera should remain the same side of the imaginary line. This is because the continuity of the sequence, if not abided, will not run smoothly and may disorientate the audience. The 180-degree rule is shown in my preliminary task when my actors are sitting at the table when one of the actors pulls out a Nerf gun. This can be seen in my opening sequence where the victim is talking to the male murderer in the forest scene. Shot reverse shot is a film technique that ties in well with the 180-degree rule. This is where one character is shown looking at another character, often off-screen. Since the characters are shown facing in opposite directions, the viewer unconsciously assumes they are looking at each other or exchanging a conversation. I use this technique in the brother-sister scene at the table to show the siblings arguing. Eyeline match is used to show a section of film from the character's own point of view. A cut of film will be edited to show what the characters is looking at. I've demonstrated this continuity technique when Jess was looking into the wardrobe, finding that none of her clothes were in fact there. As a result, we then returned back to Jess to see her dismay in the lack of the clothing. Lastly, the match on action technique is used to show the perspective of the camera changing within a scene to create one continuous shot. Previously in my induction task, I showed this technique of two people running up a spiraled staircase from the front and from the back, as though it was one seamless piece of film. I also experimented with this shot in my preliminary task. However, I got carried away with the technique and ended up using 5 shots in the space of 2 seconds to show Jess walking throughout the door. This was far too many shots and should have been shown in only 2 to 3 shot types maximum, so not to overwhelm the audience. I chose to use this same continuity technique in my opening sequence, only this time of Kat's phone dropping. Though the shots were fast, I used 3 shots which were well edited together, as though the phone was falling in one seamless motion. I also by this time had improved my editing ability, so the shots aligned smoothly. Although I did have a tripod to my disposal, in some of the shots this was not evident throughout. This meant the outcome of a lot of my shots were shaky, which interrupts the continuity of the shots. On reflection, I needed to use a panning shot, which would have been much more comfortable viewing for the audience. For my opening sequence, I used a tripod throughout, which improved the general quality of the footage and smoother transitions of shots, which greatly improved from my preliminary task. From the preliminary task, I also learnt the importance of lighting that plays on the general appearance and mise-en-scène of the footage. Having needed to film in the evening when the natural lighting from the sun had gone, I had to rely on artificial lights. This subsequently compromised the quality of the final shots and interrupted the continuity that the conversation was one continuous motion rather than a couple of hours of filming. This really helped me reflect on time management and how to organise my filming days to enable me to achieve better quality mise-en-scène to avoid errors in my continuity.